And now we are live, so everyone say hello to the internets once again. Say hi.
Hello, internet.
Salutations. Greetings.
Awesome. All right, so this is of course another Paradigm Shift Radio After Party Hangout edition. And is that? Did Jessica just join?
Look at that. Hooray! Hi, Jessica.
Your headphones.
Hi,
of
Jessica.
course they're not working because the echo is me sitting like 3 feet from you. This isn't gonna make sense at all.
I gotta go to another area of the
just
house.
mute your end, Jessica. Or just go to
Oh,
the
just
other.
mute? I'll just mute.
Or just go
I don't have
higher around
anything
the
to say
corner.
anyway.
Yeah, okay, just mute the mic for now. That would make more sense. Okay, so this is another Paradigm Shift Radio After Party Hangout. Are you muted? Is it?
Yes.
No, I don't think you are.
What do you mean? I am.
No, not like through the Hangout. So no, see that's the
I'm
wrong
muted.
button. There's a button in. I apologize.
Work
if that's
technology, Jessica. I believe in
What
you.
do I? Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, the little mic icon up at the top for you or anyone. So
Okay.
yeah, we
Yeah,
almost
it's
got
muted
it. No, I don't think it is yet. So this is what always happens at a Paradigm Shift After Party Hangout.
There you go.
There, now it's muted.
It's a-
Thumbs up. Take that, technology.
Hey.
So this is another Paradigm Shift Radio After Party Hangout, and this is following the episode of Intentions, Collective Intentions for 2015. And yeah, a lot of cool stuff came up in this episode, and I think the big theme was like just becoming to be able to inspire other people in our lives while continuing to become the best version of ourselves that we can be. I think that's kind of like something that all of us are sort of feeling as well, to be able to get a more fruitful experience out of this reality. I'll pass it with the way how this works is and kind of go around, and you guys will be able to help facilitate this just naturally and organically. But Bonnie jumped in just at the very end of the show, but I would be curious because I know she's a big fan of Intentions. Bonnie, what would you like to share, like as to how important you feel intentions are, and any for 2015 that you have?
I feel so important that you're asking me this question right now. Like first, Bonnie, all of my dreams of being on a talk show are coming true right now. So I think intentions are, it's everything. It's to me, it's kind of like magic. It's kind of like putting, it's like, well, what do you want? If you can formulate the intention for it, it's already there. And one of my favorite things to do is just put the intention out and take some deep breaths and go into a meditation and let go of the how, knowing that the magic of placing the intention is already attracting it and allowing it. So really with intentions, like I know it's like meditation and intentions, like I feel like I'm a sorcerer. I feel like I'm magic. I feel like I'm like, what do I want in my reality right now?
Awesome.
It's fascinating to me. It's awesome. I mean, yeah, I could go on for a long time. But, I mean, it comes into, like, for me, it's more than just before meditation. It's like everything I do, I put an intention because of the power of setting that intention. Like, what do I want to happen? Formulating what I want is almost the hard part sometimes. And then once the intention's there, it's a little easier. So.
Yeah, I think it's good to realize like the importance of being specific with our intentions. You know, like just being able to like get into the details, and again, just being able to like know that they may not be exactly how we want them. I'm trying to think of like, you know, like you could just if you're just like yeah, like my intention is to like to become like really strong or something like that. Well, the universe like might like drop like a boulder on you, and you're just like, whoa, too much. I'm not ready for this or something like that, you know. So I mean, if you can just like reword yourself to be able to do it that way. Oh, and this was something that probably would have been key to mention during the main episode, but realizing that like when we're creating intentions, realizing how we should avoid using the word not. As well. I think those of you within this conversation circle probably know exactly what I'm talking about, how the universe doesn't recognize the word not. So when you say like I don't or I do not want this, you're actually saying I want this, so to speak. So I mean, that's a very practical thing. Anybody
Yeah.
else, just let's flow this conversation, and just, personal experience or any tips and tricks, by all means.
It's really difficult not to say the word not. See? Just did it.
Actually, it's such a mindset because now I've trained my brain, so it's a lot easier. It gets easier, you know. Um, it used to be hard for me, but after I've practiced it, it becomes natural. Another tip and trick to intentions, I feel like, is like sometimes I just want to say everything I want, and then I get like boggled down. So kind of like centering in on one specific intention can be a little more powerful for me. Like it'll happen more quickly.
I like what you just said, Bonnie. When it comes to when you practice it more, it becomes a lot easier. And I think that in the place where I'm at now, I've had to say no because I've said yes to a way of life for myself, and I've had to say no to a lot of things that in the past I would say yes to, and it becomes easier as time has progressed, being able to, with the intention that I set, being knowledgeable about uh, there's strength that comes sometimes, and because what you ask for, you will receive sometimes, and sometimes you have to be ready for that. And people sometimes will try and strip you of your happiness and joy. So you have to kind of be mindful and set up guards as well, because wherever you're sort of led to, or whatever tension you really want to practice, in doing that, you don't want to be diverted from that. And it seems that sometimes once intentions are set, let's say for, in fact, humbleness or kindness, as was spoken in the program, uh, sometimes there are saboteurs that try and come in and really divert you from the path of what your intention that you had set of, and getting the pureness and the fullness of that. And being aware of that is a good thing, and being able to almost guard yourself and to say, I'm not going to let this influence where I need to go with the intention is a powerful thing.
That is something. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say also neuro-linguistic programming is basically what he was talking about the like using language for empowerment essentially, and yeah, so there is like science behind what it does to our brain to, instead of saying like the not, like what we don't want, the negative, or like should, if only, or all these negative things that we don't even realize we're saying all the time. Yeah, there's actually a lot to changing our language. It really is a practice, though. I mean, it's been years I've been working on this, and I'm still like, I still drop some should, like I should do this, and I just correct myself and say, I would like to do this. Or whatever.
Thank you for that, because I never really knew what it was that I wanted to do. I would always say, I should be doing this, I should be painting, I should be writing, I should be singing, I should be dancing. And instead of all those things, those are things I want to do, not things I should be doing. If I feel like doing, I'll do them. But
Right.
Thank you for that, because I never knew how much language my own self-talk was affecting my behavior.
You can experiment with it too. Like right now, when I say I should go wash the dishes, and then I say I would like to go wash the dishes, you can feel the difference in the vibration just from saying the words differently. So you
I
can
did
like
that tonight, actually, with making potatoes.
Mm-hmm. It's like empowerment through language is super real thing. So it's more than this whole woo-woo, like that people try and call it. I mean, I claim woo-woo. I am like woo-woo, spiritual, new age. Just lay it on me, because there's no running from it.
I wanted to talk about what you were saying earlier about feeling like a sorcerer with your intentions. You said it's like magic. That's been happening to me a lot just in the past few years. As a recent example, I put out to the universe that I really need a new computer because my laptop makes wheezing noises and my other computer sounds like a jet whenever it tries to do anything. It's super old. And about 2 days ago, my roommate found an ad that had just been put up on Kijiji for a top-of-the-line, super awesome, like 2013 computer for exactly how much money I had in my wallet.
Wow.
And that was what I had put out. I said I need a new computer because the ones that I have are seriously dying, and I trust that the universe will provide me with what I need. And bam, I have it. It's sitting on my desk right now. Like I don't have a monitor cable, but once I get that, I'm ready to rock.
I have something to say.
Jessica has something to say.
It's like, how do I signal that I want to speak?
I like the hand signals. We should have a hand signal. Seriously.
What if we go like this? We do like a namaste or like a.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Is that alright?
I like that.
Or,
I like
It shows a
that.
little.
Except for
little
if you just
girl.
we could go like this. Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys the idea of going back to being a child and being innocent, and being pure in being. And this is something that, I mean, for myself, it's been a lifelong journey of exploration, of trying to maintain balanced as I grow and mature, but also still remaining childlike in my exploration of life and remaining flexible. And I find that like this part of my journey in terms of exploration of self, the key to I guess like a lot of things that you guys are talking about in terms of like intentions and like manifestation are like am I getting an echo?
Sherman.
Is Brendan back?
Jesus, no. I guess his computer's picking up on me.
I think it's Sherman's computer or Sherman's mic.
That's what it is. Anyway, this idea that playing, having fun, being free, and that allows us to manifest and like get to those list of shoulds and woulds and what ifs and whatnots, from like a place of lightheartedness, and it also allows us to let go of a lot of like the programmed vernacular that we've been trained to reinforce our certain behaviors and stuff like that. So
that's something that actually really resonates with me, Jessica. That's something that's been brought to my attention over the past few years, just some of the people that I hang out with. I'm a very childlike person. I find joy and fun in so much stuff, and I have a lot of my friends who say to me, you are a huge inspiration just by how fun you are and how you look at the world and how you see things. And it's actually caused me to look at my own actions in the eyes of other people to see how they see me, and it's helped me grow, I think, as a person and kind of exploring more about how I see the world. And I am a lot of fun.
That's a good word. That's a good word. I like that.
One more
I like
thing.
the base of that.
Another cool thing about intention is that like we can put intention into our food. Like before I eat my smoothie every morning, I'm like, my intention for this smoothie is, whatever's on my mind, whatever theme that day I'm working on. Maybe it's alignment, or maybe it's balance, or maybe it's peace, or maybe it's energy, or maybe it's a specific project I'm working on. Like I put that intention into my smoothie and like allow the smoothie to help.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
You're like internalizing your intention and taking it into yourself so you can use it to fuel yourself. That's really wicked.
Bob Marley did it with marijuana. like that's why like marijuana was like a productive tool for him, because he would charge his marijuana like with an intention of whatever positivity or whatever it was. Like he didn't believe in just smoking just to get high. Like it was like he would put a specific intention and smoke with that in mind. So and
I
with
think we're
that
all
intention.
wizards.
I think I do that with writing. That's
Writing.
usually my intention when I'm in that state of mind. I actually was just writing right now, and I just finished my homework while I was listening to you guys.
I'm drawing.
Nice.
I totally just.
I'm curious how you guys are doing. I feel like it's been so long. I want like a Can we do like a drop-in? I know you guys are sick of my drop-ins. Sherman, you look so cute over there.
Why, thank you. You all look quite stunningly radiant as well.
I think
Water.
a drop-in is cool.
Sorry.
Like a drop-in and just like 30 seconds of like what's on top right now for you.
For who?
What? I
Well,
don't
For anybody.
Okay. Sure.
Okay, I'll be the example.
Well,
I'm Bonnie. I'm dropping
Okay.
in from Austin, Texas, and what's on top for me right now is that I'm gearing up for a webinar on Wednesday where we're going to play authentic connection games online, and I'm really excited about it. I'd love to see you guys there.
I'm gonna be there.
Yay! And I'm gearing up to launch an e-course that's 4 weeks long, so pretty much busy all the time doing that. And I'm really happy to drop in with you guys in this space and time right now, even though I don't know how long I'll last before I have to go sleep. That's on top for me. So anybody who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Sweet.
I've never really been athletic in my life, but I never really liked sports. That was usually my brother's suit. I just sort of put out the intention of getting some sort of physical activity. And before I knew it, the connections that I already had connected to martial arts that I appreciated for so long. So I'm actually doing martial arts training now, connections that I had no idea I'd find that. And it just came out of nowhere. It just kind of surprised me. I had no idea this one person knew another person that I already knew who had been a part of martial arts. And sort of made that connection. And now I'm just going with it. And I do it 3 times.
Killer whales. They choked one killer whale, killing a great white.
Somebody got a TV going on? Could we turn that, mute your mic or something?
They choked killer whales in the wild, killing another.
Lots.
Whoever's got some killer whales going
I
on.
think that it is.
I think that's in the go.
Oh, it's muted now. Okay. Good.
Anyways,
And high in the go.
that's mine.
Sweet. Whoa, the type chat Google Hangouts has changed.
Yeah, it has.
Chat box
Looks a
like
lot better.
pops up right there, like instead of we don't have a chat box on the side anymore.
No, it's on the side. You have to hit the side button.
Oh,
The-
okay, I found it. But it also is on the screen. All right, we're
Correct.
upgrading. Does it show up on the screen live for everybody? So we no longer have
does.
like a secret.
Yeah, if somebody
we
doesn't
can't
have the
secret
bar
chat
open,
anymore.
yeah, there's no secret chat.
No secrets here.
No secrets. It's 2015, the year of no secrets. Everything's
Okay,
gonna be exposed.
Good. Who's next? Sherman?
I'll go. Okay. Hi,
Or
everybody.
whoever said I'll go.
Oh, okay. My name is Sherman. I am 26. Let me see. The most recent happenings in my life are nothing too new. Still working on putting together the business plan for my wellness center. And I've recently come to cohorts with 2 of my friends, and we're going to be working on combining their own natural soap business with my idea of a wellness center, and hopefully we'll be bringing that together to bring healing, goodness, and positive vibrations to the world. So,
Woohoo!
Yay!
I'll go next.
Go for
I'm Shaya. I don't know if you guys can see my picture up there or not. I'm in London, and I'm friends with Brendan, and also I am now friends with Jessica because we shook hands and hugged. So we are friends. Right now, the most current thing going on right now is I finally got my website for my artwork up. Yay! I feel so accomplished. And I'm doing business cards right now so that I can try to promote my art, get a living going on with that. I think that's it. Oh no, actually I was going to talk about something that happened tonight. I was very inspired by tonight's radio show to design stuff for my apartment because it's very blah. It's landlord beige, and all my furniture is beige, and it's very non-inspiring. So I'm going to be making some banners and some signs for my walls and make it a more sacred and comforting place, more inspiring for my art.
Awesome. So Jessica, I would love if you went because I want to hear about. So you don't live in London, are you just visiting, or London, Ontario? Are you visiting?
Hey, I'm Jessica Starshine. I'm dropping in from London, where I now live, and
Oh.
Yay!
yeah, it's fun. Just kind of the universe conspired to make it happen, so I followed the synchronicities, and here I am. And to go with your flow, Bonnie, I like your flow. So what's hot for me right now? Is that what I say, or what's on top for me right now?
What's hot for you, or what's on top for you? I kind of like what's hot for you.
What's on top is what's hot.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, actually, what's hot works
What's
too.
hot? All right. Well, what's hot and on top is being a part of this beautiful radio show tonight was a lot of fun. Getting to co-create that with Brendan, and like the current moment, just being connected with you guys and seeing where the beauty of synchronicity leads me through 2015, and the theme of the show being intentions and where our intentions will lead us. So yeah, I'm working on manifesting some beautiful things, and looking forward to seeing where it goes.
What's one of those beautiful things?
I mean, I think London is one of those beautiful things, and I'm kind of just like broadly opening myself to London. Not getting too specific at this particular moment. probably, the Spirituality Expo yesterday, I connected with a lot of people, so my network has expanded, and things are manifesting very quickly here. So I'm being vague kind of deliberately until I have.
Correct. That's good.
I have more to talk about. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I don't like giving away my secrets either.
I mean, there's no point until it's a thing to really.
I do.
I think you can't really spoil your goals. They say that if you have a goal and an intention, and you actually tell that goal and an intention to somebody that you care about, or that somebody that you want to hear validation from, something in your mind will actually tell you that you already achieved that goal. So it's better to kind of not bubble up that idea,
that happens to me all the
but
time.
share that idea with somebody. Yeah, and then kind of keep the goal to yourself a little bit, but incubate it in yourself.
I have stopped doing that recently because I noticed that I was doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Who's going next? Nobody.
Somebody was singing.
Christian or AJ? You haven't done your on top or Indigo.
Cheap.
I was like, did this thing just stop?
Christian cheated. Christian cheated. He left. He left. All right. Well, I'm AJ. I'm dropping in from Orlando, Florida, and what's on top right now is my sobriety, really, and working with others to work on myself, and also in working on myself, it's been a beautiful thing because I've been able to be led by my higher power, and just seeing how intrinsic it kind of works in my life, and those, like I was saying in a radio show, like those little tidbits of things, beautiful things that I get every single day, just letting me know that, hey, I got you, or it could be a random thing, like the other day, one of my tables took $20, like there was a check that they paid for, but there was no tip on the table, and instead of getting upset about it, I was like, I'm blessed to be able to work, and I'm not going to let this affect me. And as I was walking to the bus stop, the amount of money that I would have made on that table was right before my feet, and it was $20, and I was just like, and it was like in two increments. It was like a $10 bill here, and then I kept walking, and another $10 bill. So I looked around, and there's nobody there, and I was just like, thank you. It's like it's almost been immediate gratification, or it's been this immediate understanding as to how it works, or how the synchronicities sort of meld in when you're on the right path, and so it sort of gives me a guideline to say I'm listening to spirit and not listening by ego-based source. And
Nice
so,
immediate balance, eh?
right, and it's so amazing. Like, why wasn't I doing this before? But I think with my addictions, it was blinding me, and that was the one thing that I think that a lot of people don't talk about, that people go through in the spiritual community, and they fight and they wrestle with it, and so the freedom for myself and has been a beautiful thing, and it's a day-to-day process, and I'm around and surrounded by people that are like-minded and are going the same direction that I'm going, depending upon, and so that's really what's been hot for me, and it's been such a beautiful thing. I'm so grateful for everything, and excited to see what 2015 has to bring, because I feel like all that lost time is now I'm walking into my destiny. So it's great. It's great.
Sweet.
Yes.
Wonderful.
Yay!
Christian's turn.
And go.
It's my turn now? Okay.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Christian, and excuse me. I'm Christian, and I'm in Southern California right now. And what's hot, or what's on top of me, or whatever, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just feeling good. I'm feeling very optimistic about this year. I don't know. I just feel like I feel like there's like a refreshing energy happening, and I don't know. I'm just excited. I'm excited. I'm really happy to be here tonight and hang out with all of you. I feel like this is like a really good kickoff to this year. So, yeah. Can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just contemplating the word family when you said family, and I was like, I really do feel like a little family. I feel like I'm like home for the holidays right now because I haven't seen you guys in so long. So it
So long.
feels like it's like Christmas right now. Like, oh, we get to celebrate Christmas.
I don't think I've been in a hangout since the summer. I definitely haven't been in one of these since the summer.
This is
Most
my first time
definitely.
in one of these.
Well, welcome. I
Welcome.
didn't want to cut off anyone, but I did just want to mention to like everybody who's been in, just a few chats, like how each time especially since a little more time is like passed since we've been together, how much the world has changed. Like what's new and on top for all of us, just being like in, I guess the goings on, if you will, of the world, and how different it is from the last time we had a chat, and how different that is from the last time we had a chat. Like it's crazy.
How has our paradigm shifted?
Well, I've noticed with the 4 million people that were in Paris to make their statement. I'm sorry, no officials from the United States were there, but everybody else that was there, I thought that was a beautiful thing. I thought that for 4 million people to get together and to say we denounce terrorism and are open to free speech and open-mindedness, and having every religion, all walks of life, and everybody coming together as a collective, that's a big jump. I don't think that, and there's been things in Egypt and other things, but it's now it seems like it's more on a world basis, to where there is a transformation that's going on, not only spiritually but just in paying attention to everyone's feelings, what's going on, that we are one. That right there, and I think that's been one of the biggest shifts that I've seen. And as I start speaking to people, I'm noticing that all of my friends and a lot of their friends and a lot of their friends are saying and denouncing like whatever strongholds they had in their life, and it's like it's time for a change. And it's not a New Year's thing. It's not something that it's not like the New Year's resolution. I'm not hearing the word, this is my New Year's resolution. This is like an absolute. It's more of a, we're already working on this, have been working on this. You know, this is a you know, we're actually, instead of saying I would love to do this or I have started, this is something that's already in the work, and things have already started to clarify themselves in their lives, and it's such a beautiful thing to see. That's why I'm so excited to see what really happens with the rest of 2015, because it's a world awakening, I feel, and I think it's a time for, from my perspective, a time, what's the word I'm looking, manifestation. It's the time for manifestation and getting everything for those intentions now to flourish and to see it blossom into something that's going to be absolutely beautiful and intrinsic.
I think that there's not a lot of people noticing that, and I think that there's a small selection, not a small selection. This community is getting a lot bigger, but we're really aware of what's going on, and I think it'll be more so with people like us that'll not. I'm not saying we're hogging spiritual energy, but we'll be catalyzing a lot of synchronicities around us, sort of creating more like epiphanies within our lives, and it really is going to change things. And a lot of other people are going to say, no, nothing's really happening, but I think when it comes to people like us, we're gonna really feel those synchronicities and like look back on months before and like, wow, I really brought that to my front door.
I just really
That is
kind of
something that reminded me of something that happened the other day. I was at, I work at Spirituality and You, and I was sitting there, and a man came in, and he was very, very excited because he had just made the shift from mundane, day-to-day, paycheck to paycheck, technology is the future, to realizing that the world is collectively imagining itself and reality and crystals and energy, and he was totally stoked, and it was super awesome to be able to experience that with him, because he's like, I've been doing it all wrong, and he was so excited when he came in, and he came in 3 times.
That's like my dream, when somebody, a stranger or even somebody that you know, not even somebody that you know well, just sort of sees it. I haven't really seen that in front of me yet in like the past 3 years of being spiritually awakened. I haven't really seen it in
He
front of
came
me.
in 3 times that day. Every time he came in to tell me something different that he saw that day, or to bring in a crystal that he had, and he wanted to ask me questions about it. And he was just like, there's so much information. He's like, I can't believe I didn't see it before, and now my eyes are open, and I'm aware, and I'm awake, and it's amazing. And it was really, like, it made me really happy to see that, and it was just a really awesome experience. And I love having that happen. I've had it happen a few times being down there, and even just people on the bus, just like people who are just start talking to me, and I hear about their awakening and how they just realize, it's like, oh, how did I not know this before? I'm so excited about it.
Yeah, I just kind of want to piggyback really quick off what I can really just directly relate, I guess, to what everyone's saying, but just specifically what AJ was saying, and I think how interesting it is that in 2015, like, you're not hearing a lot of New Year's resolutions, so to say, but you are hearing a lot of people quite literally just saying, this is what I want and this is what I'm going to do to get it. And I feel like it's in a completely different way in the sense than ever before, because people are just claiming it. People are saying, this is what I want, and I'm just seeing it everywhere, and it's beautiful, and it's just kind of really weird. Yeah,
it's weird. It is, and I'm like, am I the only one noticing this? It's something that I've never seen before on this level. It's extreme, and it's an explosion, and that's what I consider a shift. There's a shift in the universal consciousness that is manifesting itself with people that don't know anything about the spiritual community. They might not know anything about it, but they know that something has to change within inside themselves, and they've gone all these years not doing anything, but at a time like this is when the move happens, and it's a lot of people. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. It's just something I've noticed.
It's a pretty awesome thing to experience.
Totally.
I don't even know
putting
what's
out
going
there.
on
They
with
put a
those.
huge goal and they plan out exactly what they want, and it's beautiful to watch. But then they don't do it. I've been seeing that a lot too, and it's kind of sad. But it's also very like It's a very educational thing, and I
It's
think a
also
lot of
sort
people.
of maybe for those people. Sorry to interrupt you. I was just
It's
thinking
okay.
maybe for those people, it's sort of like a stepping stone, like them
Mm-hmm.
saying they want to do something and not quite getting there,
It's a
but
start. It's a
realizing,
start.
oh, you know, I'm gonna try harder next time, and maybe I'll get a little further next time. I
I
know
just
that
love
personally because
how
I've done it.
I love how kind of like last year was like the vision, and like
Right.
this year is like the action.
Right.
Year
Right.
Yes.
Right. Let me get a
like
clip. Let
last
me
year we just visualized and we pictured,
self-realization.
you know, and this year is like action. Things are
Action.
happening so
Yes.
fast,
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
and I can't even keep my
It's
head
so
on
true.
straight. I have so much to do because everything I've been manifesting is suddenly here, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
crap, I don't have all my material ready for my class or whatever. It's not that I don't. It's like suddenly. Like what I was praying for, like, hey God, I'd really love a web developer to come help me do all this stuff. Boom, here you go. Like, you better be
Mm-hmm.
ready because he's here at your house, and
Mm-hmm.
Kind of
It's a good
drops into
problem
your
to have.
lap, and you're like, oh no, I just realized I am not prepared for this.
yeah. Well, I feel I'm prepared, but then there's certain things that I need to finish writing out and stuff like that and articulating. So,
And
just
also, Victor, what I wanted to say in that as well is what I'm noticing is that there is, because of the major change that's going on, it's almost like if you don't follow the majority, you feel left out. So it's almost like you feel more, and you feel like I need to jump on the bandwagon, like maybe there is something to this. And so that's sort of propelling people to look at themselves inwardly and to say, well, maybe there is something, which before, usually we're us as a people, sometimes we can think about only ourselves and think about what is it good for us, and but then it lets them see inside at maybe some of the things that might need to change, and say maybe there is something to this, and it might open their awareness to something else. So, I don't think that it's necessarily a negative. I think that sometimes, because everybody that talks about it, it's so happy. Like the energy is good.
Oh
It's
yeah.
it's such a blessing. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm free. I'm free, and I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. So now that I have something to go forwards to, and I don't feel like I have, but it's a daily walk, and it's a daily thing that we have to set ourselves forward. But it becomes easier. It's not something that it's holding us back anymore.
Thank you.
just
Yeah,
to
totally.
wrap it
Totally.
around to this intention conversation we started with, I used to like spend a bunch of time being like, my intention is this or my intention is that. Now I start with every day the same
Oh my
intention.
God, Billy.
I pull in what I need like after that maybe throughout my day, but like the main intention every day when I wake up is alignment with my highest purpose and my highest reason I'm here on this earth, and like true alignment with that. Because every other intention, it's like that's the main one. Like in really all I want is to be aligned with what I'm here to do.
Yes.
Right.
Yes,
So
I do
as long
that.
as
Oh
I
yeah.
just put that one intention like in the mornings when I'm doing my meditation, it's like everything from there is in perfect alignment because I've already set that intention. So if
Makes
you
a lot
have
of
one
sense.
intention,
That
that's
is
what I'm
that is something
recommending.
that I do every day, but I never really consciously thought about what it was that I wanted to do. I would just get up in the morning and just be, and then realize that, like you saying that made me go back over the past, say, a week, and realizing that's what I've been doing every day is just my higher purpose, my higher intention is to help people, to make them happy, to give them joy, just by being myself, showing them that it is possible to live in this world and not be a complete downer.
The funny part for me is that it's still unfolding, like the alignment, and like right when I think I'm aligned, it's like something else comes up that's like, actually, you're more aligned with this, and so it just keeps molding, and it's kind of this fascinating thing to see
There
what it
is there
is.
is there's a prayer that I wanted to share with
Yeah,
you guys, and it's really good. Oh, go ahead, Christian. Were you speaking?
No,
Okay.
no.
There was a prayer. There was something that I heard the other day, and it basically says, "Make me a channel of thy peace, that where there is hatred I may bring love, that where there is wrong I may bring the spirit of forgiveness, that where there is discord I may bring harmony, that where there is error I may bring truth, that where there is doubt I may bring faith, that where there is despair I may bring hope, that where there are shadows I may bring light, that where there is sadness I may bring joy. Grant me that I may seek rather to comfort than to be comforted, to understand than to be understood, to love than to be loved. For it is by self-forgetting that one finds. It is by forgiving that one is forgiven, and it is by dying that one awakens to eternal life."
Whoa,
Yeah.
that is amazing. What is that? Where is that from?
it is it is the 11th step prayer, and you can look it up, and it's really, it's actually the St. Francis prayer. It's the Saint.
Wow,
It's the
that
Saint
is.
Francis. It's an amazing
My
prayer.
brain just went.
It's an amazing. I mean, because if you're realizing that you're now a vessel to be used and to be guided by Spirit, and that really is what, and being in alignment, just like you were talking about, Bonnie, and um being in alignment with that, which the path that you are guided to. Um, just doing the work and just listening to your higher power, and understanding that, you know, the greater good of that, they're going to guide you down the right path and show you the exact way that you need to go. And it's a beautiful thing, man. It really is. I don't even know. My gratitude is out of control right now. Like, it almost makes me want to cry. It really does, because I realize some of the errors in my ways of past stuff, but I look at it and I said, well, if I would have never gone through that, then I would have never been able to, one, understand people that have gone through the same things that I've gone through, and also bring light to them and be able to understand and have empathy for that situation. So it's just, I don't know. It's really good. It's really good.
That's a really good point. That's what I think about when people ask me, "Well, do you have any regrets in your life?" I mean, I'm only 34, but still, like, people ask me randomly, "Do you regret anything?" And I'll sit there and think, and I'm like, I really don't, because everything that I've gone through has made me the person that I am, and I like who I am. I'm a pretty rad person. So if I hadn't gone through all of that chaos and all of that heartache and breaking down, then I wouldn't have been able to rebuild who I am into the person that I want to be. And it's still ongoing, but I mean, like, that's a lot of stuff that you go through, and you don't realize it until you're through it. And you're like, wow, I went through all of that, and
Right.
so I don't regret anything, because it all shaped me to be, you know, who I am now, and I'm still evolving, and I love that. And it's
And
awesome.
the one thing is that once you gain that knowledge, you give it away because it was given to you so freely, and you understood, and you had to go through those times. But it's in that to where you now become a teacher or a guider to those that need guidance. So where that,
Absolutely.
that's what our primary purpose, I think, is, as people in spirituality, and understanding that the principles that are the foundation that's set down. I think that that's one of the major guidelines, is that you be of maximum service to your fellow man that are going through as tough a times that you've been through, and you know,
Yes, I
that's what I
agree
feel.
completely. That is probably the best analogy of the service that I try to be for people, is that I can
Hmm.
come from a place of complete understanding, even
Right,
if it's where you haven't gone through that specific scenario. It resonates with you because of the emotions that it evokes in you, and you realize,
right.
I've been through something like that, so I can empathize and I can understand.
Hmm.
The yin yang.
Yeah.
Can't have the good without the bad and the good, and the good and the bad.
Yeah, buddy.
They're not separate.
Indigo, did you want to share anything? I know that you're kind of like,
Oh, me?
I, I don't think he's talking. talking. There we go. And Matthew, how are you? Holy crap!
I'm great. How are you?
Whoa, hey,
Whoa, that is a
I
mind blower
haven't seen you
there.
in so long. Everybody, it's like sleep time.
Whoa, I don't even know what to do right now. I'm about to pass out.
You're all like in college and everything now.
I know. I started my second semester today.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was all right. I'm happy with my schedule.
It's alright.
No 9
So-
a.m. classes this time.
No, I still have a 9:30.
Never get out of those damn 9 o'clock classes.
Yeah, I know. But I don't
So,
have
Matt-
to be there all day, which is good.
So Matt, what are your intentions for 2015? That was sort of the topic. Oh, actually, Bonnie, if you'd like to guide him and drop in.
Yeah, sure.
Drop in. What's on top? What's on top? What's hot? What would serve you to talk about in this moment?
What am I trying to do? Put my intentions to this year?
Sure, you can say that. We just did a drop in of like what's on top, which just means usually there's something floating on top of like our awareness in this present moment, and so like what is that?
Well, I've been doing a lot more of my photography, trying to get deeper, farther into that, get some more stuff out there. Then I've been still finishing up a film I worked on last year. And then I'm just trying to pass the semester.
Cool.
Right on.
That
Yeah,
works?
we're talking about, well, intentions is the theme, loosely, of the discussion, but you can talk about anything you want, really. I'm all reading this thing and not being totally present right now. I wrote an article today on how important it is to be present with other people.
I've been writing notes while everyone's been talking because you guys are evoking memories and stuff that I can talk about pretty much with every sentence. So I have missed a whole bunch of stuff that I wanted to talk about, but it's really cool because it's kind of activating my mind to think about these things that I wanted to be doing and were planning on doing, but decided at the time that I decided, I want to paint today, but I didn't paint. I colored. Close enough.
It's close enough,
Yeah.
It's close enough.
Yeah, so it's like there's so many things that I feel like I want to talk about, but now I can't remember any of them because the notes that I wrote for myself are super vague. So I'm pretty awesome at that.
Well,
but not
that's
really.
why I like this forum, though, because it doesn't feel as maybe rushed as the programming on the radio show. So you have more time to sort of be yourself and to get those ideas out. That somebody will say something and you can kind of jump off that, and it's more than one person in a room, so it's a collectiveness of everybody, which is really good. And somebody might say something and you can just jump in on it and be like, that's right, I remember.
I already do that, but yeah, like there were a lot of things that I wanted to talk about when the show was going on, but I did want to call in, except that, like I said, I mute this frequently because I'm clearing my throat and I'm coughing and stuff, so I wasn't sure that I could be articulate and keep muting it because I end up distracted and forget what I was talking about.
I think you sound great, just saying.
Super. I'm trying to bring points up, but not in a way that's like, this is what happened to me and I went through this and this was the story. But I like telling stories because I like hearing stories. I like hearing other people's stories, and I feel like I'm being selfish by talking about myself all the time. But
okay, may I interject really quickly? I have found that listening to other people's experiences sort of brings guidance and brings a sort of awareness to people that might be going through the same thing. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with saying about what your experience is, because I think that that's how people learn. That's how people grow, is through people's experiences. There's nothing wrong with it, and there's nothing selfish about that. I think there needs to be openness, and that was one of the things that I saw what you had written in the chat box, and I was like, you didn't want to seem selfish with your own experience, and I was like, well, that's discrediting people that might need to hear what you say, because it's not selfish. You have something that you've gone through that could be a message for somebody else, and that you needed to say it, and a spirit might be using you in that sense. So you would be doing a disservice if you didn't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's not selfish.
Yeah, that
It's
does
not.
make
It's
a whole
not.
lot of sense. Yeah.
It's not selfish in any way.
What you were talking about before, I can't remember if it was you or if it was someone else who said when you come to the awareness of your eyes are open and you're seeing the world in a whole new way and you're super stoked about it and you're so excited and happy and full of joy and love. I clearly remember that point for me. It was in 2009, and I at the time was playing World of Warcraft and living in my sister's basement.
Hmm.
I was the basement troll. um, and I remember that for the past like 4 or 5 years up to that point, I was basically a non-entity. I had like no personality, no emotions except anger. It was just a very null time for me. And somebody that I was talking to on World of Warcraft actually said to me, you need to get off the internet. You need to find your joy. You need to find the joy in the world. It's out there. Trust me. He's like,
Hmm.
I'm old and I go BMX biking and I have a great time. And he's like, you need to find your thing. So go out and do it. Like, what's a day like there today? And I was like, oh, it's sunny today. It's May. He's like, go outside. Go in the
Right.
sunshine. Just go find something to smile about. And I'm like, all right. So I got offline, and my sister looked at me like I was insane because I had not gotten out of the chair for, months. And so I got up and I put on rollerblades. I remember I was super pumped to go outside because I was like, I haven't rollerbladed in like 10 years. I can do this. So I put them on, I went outside, and I fell on my ass. And I hit hard. But on the way down, I was laughing because there was a guy standing across the street from me, and I could see him watching me. And all I could think about was, how does this look to that guy? And I was just laughing. I'm like, I would laugh at me. Like, I'm laughing at me now. And on the way
Right.
down, I was just giggling, and I hit, and I was like, okay, that sucked. But, then I got back up and I kept going. And that, just getting outside into the sunshine, just that one act of change in my life, just, it catapulted me. Like, I was a basement troll, and then I just lived at the top of the mountain after that.
You
I was,
you
I was
just
so stoked.
summarized. You just summarized what the change is. That story puts it into. That's it. That is it. And it's like the change that's going on is you being in the basement,
It's
and
like
you
a
being cut.
cocoon.
In the
It
dark.
is, and you being in the dark and cut off from everything, and by somebody giving you a little bit of knowledge and saying, "Hey, like, look, I think that it might be best for you to start maybe changing or seeing a different type of perspective." You went and you were active about it, which is the activation of 2015. Which, when you went out and did things, even though you fell and you were worried about the way it might have looked to you, you laughed about it, because you know what? It didn't matter at that point. You were already outside. You were
Oh,
free.
that's fun.
That's
You
it. I
were
was
free.
outside and I was moving and I didn't fall down until I was almost home, and I
That
wasn't
story's
worried about what
amazing.
I looked like. I wasn't worried about what I looked like. I was going, okay, that guy's watching me and this is hilarious. And I just landed, and it was not at that point. I'd been
Uh,
outside for about 10 minutes at that point, and it was just like, I can do this. I have the power to change my own life. Like, look what I just did. I haven't rollerbladed
right.
in 10 years and I'm doing it now. Like, this is awesome. So that was a huge catalyst for my own change, because from that point, all I could do was seek out ways to improve myself and deal with my anger and deal with my addictions and deal with all of the sedentary lifestyle issues that
Hmm.
I had been holding on to for so long.
That's awesome. That's amazing, and and I think that that's part of the whole thing. I think that, and I commend you for listening, because that's not an easy thing to do. It's a lot of times people want to shut people out and say, "Oh, who are you? You don't know anything." But going through the experience and saying, "You know what? I'm just gonna jump out," sort of like the fool in tarot. It's like I'm gonna jump out on a limb, and I really don't care, and I'm gonna be okay. I'm just going to go out and do it. It's good. Like the universe is gonna catch me. I'm not gonna fall that hard. But if I don't experience it, what do I have to lose? I don't have anything to lose. I have
One of
everything to
the
gain.
yeah, one of the awesome results and the consequences, I guess, of doing this is that my son, who's 14, has heard some of these stories, and he's just like, he's telling all of his friends and anybody that he knows around his age is like, dude, listen to your parents. They've been through this stuff. They know what they're talking about. And he is becoming such he's such an aware person. And it's so cool to watch and be able to talk to my son about this spirituality and the shifting in ways that don't make us seem like crazy people. And it's great because a lot of my family before would looking at me and they're like, okay, you're the kooky one in the family. And now my family members are actually saying to me, you kind of got something there, and it's really rewarding to feel that and to know that my family is like becoming more on board than they were before. Instead of me just being the crazy one in the family who wears all the bright colors and has weird hair, like I'm now like they're asking me questions, and I'm just like, oh, thank you. I'm so glad that I can talk to you about this stuff. It's great.
Yeah, you're bringing light in a place where they're in a place of darkness. Like what I'm. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
I really want to give everybody like a hug right now. This is so awesome.
I know it is. It is.
So what are you guys thinking about all this? You remembering your own shift moment? Your like aha moment?
The funny thing is, I think it's for most people it's around 2007 to 2010, and then everyone collectively around that time in 2010 to 2012 was like, "Whoa, what's happening? Why are we all like so like aware now?" And now we're in 2015, and it's like, we're all cultivating what we want or what we wanted before, and realizing
sort of
if we actually
crystallizing.
wanted it. Yeah, and we'll realize if we actually wanted it or not, and realizes it actually led us somewhere else. Like to this Google Live chat.
I think I was like 2007 or 2008 when I started getting into it. Became awake, or what people call it.
Inception came out in 2011, and that got me to lucid dream, and that kind of started it.
Dude, how are you guys' dreams been? Anybody having like crazy
Not so good actually.
Wacky
I don't dream
Been
as
having
much
some
as
interesting
you.
dreams.
I'm having
Let's
some
hear 'em.
really interesting dreams.
That too. I've just been forgetting to write.
Some that I don't
down.
really want to talk about, or not appropriate.
I can tell you guys pretty much the core of all of my dreams for the past month have revolved around hugging.
Me too.
Everybody.
Hugging animals.
Hugging everybody.
Animals.
Hugging trees, hugging people, hugging
Nice.
animals.
That's
It's
great.
just hugging, just all like a collective love. Like I need to be close to people and to share that love with people. And it's weird because when they were talking on the show about different kinds of love and trying to figure out like what kind of love it is when you're around somebody, like it could just be that you want to hug them and then you hug them and like, oh, that was it, cool, I'm all settled now. And that's something that I've sort of been dealing with, and that's manifested itself in my dreams. It's like trying to figure out the different relationships that I have with different people, and it's really intense at first. You're like, oh my god, I must go hug this person, but it's not just that. It's that you feel this like connection with people, and you don't really know how to interpret that. And the more I dream, the more it clarifies. And I was really freaked out for a little bit because I was reading Man and His Symbols. I got to about page 18 and I had to stop because I was sleepy, and I went to sleep and I don't even know where I went. But that dream, was some pretty intense stuff, and I woke up and I told Brendan about it, and he was just like, whoa. It's like, I don't know, my consciousness was like, oh my gosh, you're paying attention now. Let me tell you all of the things.
Right.
Like, whoa, that was too much. Now I don't remember any of it.
Doesn't that suck? When you have a dream and it's like really important stuff and you just can't remember.
Yes, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, that was so intense. It was, oh, what? Oh.
Yeah.
Sometimes what helps with me with doing, because I like to journal dreams, because I like to look back if something's going on in my life and try and figure out what's going on, is to stay in the haze. Stay in the haze for a little bit and slowly start remembering the dream and remembering parts of it without fully waking up. Like, just sort of lie there and review.
Yeah.
Review and then meditate on what that dream or what a specific thing meant to you at that place.
I wish I could do that.
But what happens is when you stay in that haze and you open your eyes just a little bit and you don't fully move, you get sort of like, you sit there and you rest and you meditate on there. You're still almost in dream state, but you're almost
like in
out.
between. You're
in between. And when you start meditating on that, what can happen? I mean, I know this happens for me, is that I'll remember the dream in full, but then I start saying, what message was given to me? What did this mean? What purpose did this serve for whatever? And then when I do that, the dream becomes even more clear to where then I can wake up and start interpreting the rest and write it down. Because now I have a guide point. I have something that I can I have focused my attention or my attention on something that, and what the spirit's intention is for me. Because usually that's what it's trying to do, is it's trying to give me a message in a weird, indirect way, but there's profound meaning in the way that it's trying to do it. And if you look deep inside within a dream, you'll see how it's connected to your life. So
Sorry, go ahead.
No. For me, that's how I've come to do it.
I've found that
cool.
The only, like, the way that I can remember it is not to write it down, but to text my friend. I have my best friend who lives actually way up north from, like, I moved from Sault Ste. Marie to London, Ontario, and he still lives there. So I will text him. I say, as long as I say the words "I had a dream," he won't respond until I'm done talking, because if he interrupts me, I'll forget what I was.
But that's writing. That's writing.
That's the only thing. It hasn't been able to. I haven't been able to do it recently because I have a dog, and as soon as I start shifting around in my bed, like I'm awake, he is all up in there, like, let's go outside right now.
That is hard. Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah,
really
if someone comes and wakes you up,
distraction.
if someone gets you up, that's it.
That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that's a distraction.
So I do remember, like, I still have that vibe, that feeling of, oh, that was so intense,
It's like
and I want to remember, but
a dream can be
dog's gotta
remembered
pee.
in an authentic awakening.
What's that?
A dream can be remembered in an authentic awakening.
Well, I like that. You know what? You know what? And I'll tell you why that makes sense to me. It's something happened today that was so crazy. So my friend just entered a treatment program, and I, while I was on the train to go to Sanford, I was writing something. I was writing a letter to him, and I knew that I wasn't going to be able to see him. But I was like, all right, now I've never been to Sanford. I've never been to this treatment facility. I went into the facility. I was like, is this so-and-so's person here? They were like, well, we can't tell you if he's here or not. I was like, okay. Well, I wrote this letter to him. If he is here, would you mind just passing this on to him? And as I turned around to walk out of the facility, there was a house. It was an Elks Lodge, but it was a house that I remember the dream. I remember what happened in the dream specifically. I remember how long ago the dream was. I remember going to this house. I remember that I had just lost my cell phone in a dream and I needed a battery, and I ended up going to this house because the house is on the end corner. It was the same house that was in the dream. I saw it with so much clarity. And so as I'm walking, then I started walking around the side. And as I walked around the side, it connected the place of the house. It was in another dream. So now these are two different dreamscapes, that one side of the house was one specific dream, the other was another. And it all came rushing back to me. And so ladies that were out, they were in a building, and they came out to me and they said, "Sir, are you lost?" And I said, "No, I'm not lost. I'm trying to collect myself right now because I didn't know what to say." it was so, because the dreams were coming and rushing back, and I had to sit back and think, and it wasn't deja vu as much as it was, there was a specific reason, because I was like, okay, I'm doing something led by the spirit to do something for somebody else, but these things were already placed in my dream, and I remember the specifics. And in my dream there was recovery attached to it in the dream, but I had this dream like 5 or 6 years ago. This wasn't recent. This wasn't something that it just blew my mind. So when you said that, that kind of like was validation
You
for me.
just triggered a memory from my childhood that I absolutely had forgotten about until right now. I remember telling people I would go to people's houses that I'd never been to before, people I'd never met, friends of my parents, or relatives of school friends, and I'd go to their house or I'd go to an event and they were there, and I remember loudly exclaiming to people as a child, "Hey, I dreamed this."
Right.
And oh my god, I just got chills. Whew.
No,
I was
seriously, it was
wicked, like
crazy.
so
It's
many
crazy.
times. And
Hmm.
people kept telling me, "No, you're imagining it." And they really shut me down like for a long time. And wow, that was just you just brought that right back to the forefront of my mind. I wonder how many times that happened.
I think
Wow.
it's always different with people too, like what they see in the dream and what they see in real life. For me, it's been something more specific. It's pop culture. I can almost predict pop culture in a dream when it happens. Like, I just know when certain things are going to happen, how somebody's going to how my favorite director is going to make their movie, just by dreaming about it. And I'll actually dream trailers and stuff. That was when I was really young, though. I remember like I dreamed like certain trailers to certain movies, and they would come out, and that's what the trailer would look like. And I was
That's
like a really
stuff.
young kid.
That's kind of that you were saying pop culture. I do stuff like that right now. Music is like brand new music released on the radio. I'm singing along with the words.
Yeah.
Like people are like, "You've heard this song before? You can't hear this song before. This is like the premiere." I'm like, "I know the words. How do I know all the words?" And like I did that with a couple of different songs. Savage Garden's "I Want You" when that came out, I'm singing
Hmm.
along like right to the all of it, and my sister was just like, "How are you doing that?" And I was just like, "Magic."
Yeah, it's so, but it's so weird because I don't think that a lot of people are in tune. I know that Skull's really been trying to tap into lucid dreaming, and that's one of the things I'm blessed to be able to have been able to. It's been with me all my life, and so it's, but it's crazy how it comes back up. Like today, it took the breath. It took the breath out of me when I saw this house. I had to stop. I had to go around the whole house. I had to look. I looked at the scenery. I looked, and then I remembered back in a dream. I remember flying on top of buildings, and I remember I was going to and from certain places, and I was like, well, where is this place in direction to where it was in a dream? And it was just, it was nuts. And I've never been to Sanford, but I remember everything like it was the back of my hand, and it was it's crazy, which is the reason why I started writing down dreams a while ago.
Would you say you were still conscious going through that area, or were you still sort of like being surprised by it, even though you knew what you were going to see?
I was surprised. Okay, it's my dreams are another reality, and that's the only way I can describe it. I have the same five senses that I have in regular world. The only difference is that I realize that I'm dreaming, and I'm able to pretty much do what I want in my dreams to a certain extent. So I remember my dreams like it actually happened to me in real life. The difference is that I the landscape, a lot of times the landscape I might not know or have not seen. So I will go to like in the dream where I saw this house. I remember it was darker outside. It was sort of like dusk, and I was at one house, and it had this long sort of hallway that was in it, and I remember that there was AA attached to it. There was some treatment facility, and I remember going to this house because I needed a charger, and somebody had stolen my cell phone. And I had walked to the house, and I knocked on the door, and the house just it played a vital role in the dream. Now, strike that back to a different. I've had a different dream, but the side of the house didn't look like the front of the house. So the front of the house is in one dream, the side of the house is in another dream with a total different scenario. The dreamscape in three separate dreams, I had three separate versions of the same house, but they were all. I had to look at the relationship of what each dream meant. So now I'm breaking down each three of the dreams as what was going on in this dream and what was going on in my life at the time these
Oh
dreams are going
my
on.
god.
It's pretty deep. It's pretty deep.
Wow.
It's pretty deep.
That's
So
so cool, man.
That's pretty cool. I'm thinking like you never saw this house before, right?
never, I've never seen it
That
with my
is
natural eyes. I've never been to
really
Sanford.
cool.
It was my first time there, but
Oh, and
whenever
you were. I
Wow.
just remembered that I saw a picture and it said Sanford. Yeah.
yeah,
There's
yeah, it's crazy.
that talking about a house in a dream, it reminded me of this I have these recurring dreams where I'm in this there's two specific houses, and each time I'm in them I'm like, "Oh, this is my dream house."
Hmm.
Like this is a house in a dream.
And a dream that
I'm
you know
always
you've been
here
to,
when I
right?
yes, and one of them is a mansion, but it's really like a decrepit old mansion. Like if you guys have seen the Interview with the Vampire,
Hmm.
when Lestat's all rotted at like near the end when he's in that house and it's all decaying and broken, that's what one of them looks like. And the other one, I can't think of it right now, but I'm pretty sure there's a tree growing in the middle of it. But I've never
You
seen
will
either of
see
these
it.
houses. But
You will see it.
I will see it. I know I will. But
You'll
each
see it.
time I remember that I go back and I'm like, oh, okay, this is that one. Well, let's see what happens this time, because every time something different is
Right.
happening, and
Correct.
it relates to some struggle that I'm having in my life. Like the last one was there was a big lineup of people in the attic of my decrepit mansion house, and I was in the lineup, and for some reason, a lot of the walls were made out of that plastic sheeting, and they were kind of blowing, and at the head of the line there were two werewolves, and they were eating everybody. They were like tearing them apart every time they would go to pass through. And I remember standing there, and there were two or three other people with me, and we all looked at each other like, "Well, what are we gonna do?" I'm like, "We're cool. This is my house." And I just walked right through them, and they didn't touch any of us. And I woke up going, "I can get past whatever it is that's stressing me out." And like it was a really cool like
That's like
way to wake up.
with the intention that like this is my world.
Yeah,
Or
yeah, and that was
right.
like a really cool experience for me, because like I never really thought about it as being lucid dreaming.
That is
But that
exactly what
seems
lucid dreaming is,
Oh my
and
gosh. Okay, I
that's
have done it.
exact. That's exactly what lucid dreaming is. And when you figure, and now this is the beauty of lucid dreaming, because now you can relate the werewolf to either addiction, either it be drug, or it could be something that's attacking you spiritually in your life, and you were strong enough in the dream to be able to consciously be aware and say that no, I'm not going to let this happen.
I can
This is
handle this.
I can handle this. This is something
Yeah.
that I can break through. And later on, that breakthrough happens, and then you understand what the dream meant. Then you understood what, like the meaning becomes clear, and that's what lucid dreaming is. That's the beauty of lucid dreaming, is that you're aware of
Someone
all
told
that
me
stuff.
once that the way they said it was funny, but I mean, it sort of makes sense that brains are dumb. Our brain is basically just a storage computer. So when we dream and when we live in our realities, whichever ones we're in, it stores all of that as memory. So it doesn't discern whether you have actually done a thing or whether you just dreamed it.
Right.
But the other side of that is that some people have said that when you dream, you're actually going to another world and interacting there, and you're living there, and you are not alive in this one. And so like there's a lot of different ways of looking at it, but essentially like if dreams are stored as memories, and your brain can't always discern if you've experienced it or not, like in the physical, it's sometimes kind of hard to go through
To
life and see
differentiate.
people. Yeah, and you see
Hmm.
people and you're like, hey, how's it going? They're like, I have no idea who you are. Why
Know
are you
who
talking
you
to me?
are. Well, that was a hard, and Christian, Christian knows because I've spoken about it before. It was a hard thing for me from the age of 5 or 14, because my dream world was another reality for me, and my parents were going to send me to a psychiatrist because they didn't know, like, it was hard for me to differentiate reality from dream world because they were so real, and I was dreaming on such. I would have 6 lucid dreams. I would wake up, go to sleep, have another lucid dream, and
Oh
sometimes
my gosh.
my perception of time, was so distorted that my dream world and my regular world, my dream world was almost longer than my regular world. So if you were to take let's just take let's take 24 hours within a day. In my dream world, even though I would be asleep for maybe 8 hours, would be 22 hours out of the day, and I was only awake 2. So, or I would, it was nuts. So I would be trapped in dream world for way longer than I felt was necessary, and I would
Yeah,
want to
that's
get,
happened to me.
and I would want to get out, and I couldn't get out, or I would wake up, and
That's a weird feeling.
or I
Yeah.
would wake up, or I would wake up and be in another dream, not, and I'm like, I'm awake, I'm
Yeah.
here in my room,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm still dreaming. This is ridiculous. When is this gonna end?
That's what
When is
happened.
this gonna
Dude.
end? Like,
Wow.
seriously.
Dude, that's exactly what happened in my first lucid dream. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was only asleep for like a couple hours, but I felt like I was in there for like 2 days.
Right.
And I wanted to get out, but I didn't know how. So I woke up like 6 times before I actually woke up, like in real life.
In real life,
You know.
and that's but
Yes.
imagine that happening almost every night for
Oh my
years
gosh.
on
That
end.
would be crazy.
So, but that was a
crazy,
problem.
yeah.
That was a problem.
Yeah.
Because it was hard for me. But what it did was it taught me how to control. I didn't have a choice because my dream world was such that I was in dream world way longer than most people and remembered things like it was a reality. I had to learn how to fight certain things in dream world. That's the reason why I'm able. Like, I've never been to Sanford, and I remember that house in my dream because I spent time at that house in my dream. I remember it like it was yesterday. When I saw the house, I knew what happened in my dream because I had been there for a long time. It was a 2-day time period in my dream that this whole scenario went down. So even though I see this house and it only takes me a second, it was actually 2 days in regular realm time. It would be like I spent 2 days going through the same thing. That's the reason why I remember it so clearly. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
See, now what I'm trying to put together is like how, well, I mean, obviously, that this is kind of like a good example of time not being linear, because
Right.
Heck yes.
because you had, I don't even need to say it, but yeah, it's very interesting to me. That's what I was thinking about the whole time you were talking about it. So like, just kind of like pretty cool
I
how
wanted to.
the future ties into the past, even though you weren't there per se.
Right.
I just wanted to again talk about myself. I don't have a lot of memories from my own childhood. I have maybe 5, if I really think hard. I don't remember being a child very well. My mother sent me a whole bunch of photographs of me as a child about a month ago, and I was looking at it going, "Who is this little human that looks like me? This is so neat," because I didn't remember any of those places or any of the people. I had no idea who some of those people were, and there was no connection between me and the child in the photos. And one of the things that I wanted to bring up, I found my note I was scribbling on here. Brendan was talking about aliens and UFOs, and
it's really funny because as soon as you started talking about it, I was like,
yeah.
Anyway,
what actually happened was I was a very introverted child. This is what I hear. Because my name is Cheyenne, so everyone called me Shy, and I have heard the joke all my life. Are you shy? Well, I used to be. I was a very shy girl, and I would cry all the time. I'd see people suffering, and I would cry. I was a very, very sensitive child. I'm a sensitive adult, so it kind of makes sense. But I was basically, a crybaby and overly emotional and all those other things. And these are all stories that I've heard from other people telling me about who I used to be. Because when I turned 12 and puberty hit, I wasn't that girl anymore. I was somebody different. I was somebody plus. I actually did not know about this. I knew that I felt different and that I felt like there was extra, to me, like I felt like bigger and more, and just, you know, like now that I've learned about auras in the last few years, it's like my aura was like 3 times the size of a normal human, and I couldn't figure out why. I always felt like I was more, until I had a conversation on MSN in 2011 with a friend of mine, and he randomly started showing me these photographs of supposed UFOs in Japan during the war, and like airplanes and the Foo Fighters and things like that. And I immediately, as soon as he started talking about that, it was like my own like Cheyenne personality got shoved to the back of my brain, and somebody else took over and had a conversation with him about who they were. And I saved it, and I was just like, this is the most
Wow.
bizarre feeling. Like I felt like I was a tiny human soul inside the back of my own skull. Like I had no control over what I was saying, what I was feeling, breathing. Like I had no control over any of that, and it was the most bizarre feeling. But I remember the conversation essentially was he was asking questions, and as this entity was responding, it was saying, or we got some feedback going on there. As it was responding, it was like, you're not asking me the right questions to get a proper answer, sort of thing. And he started asking about aliens in specific, and he was asking about who the Greys are. And I was answering, well, not me, but this person, this entity was answering. And essentially, this entity had entered me when I was 12 in order to be a passenger in my life, in order to experience December of 2012 and the paradigm shift that was globally occurring at that time. And I was like, in the back of my brain, I'm going, oh my God, what do I do? What do I was like kind of freaking out a little bit. And he was, it was a male, this entity was responding to my friend, and all these questions that he was asking was like, you know, how long have you been here? What is your purpose? Why are you here? And then some of the answers that were coming out were basically like, I cannot answer that. I have not that information. You know, I am just an observer. I'm just a scientist, basically. So after the conversation, it went, I guess, dormant. So it was silent. I could still feel that it was there, but it was like, okay, I have given my information. I have revealed myself to someone on the planet. I think I better back off now, kind of feeling. And 2012 hit, and I woke up on December 22nd, and I felt empty. I was just like, oh, there's a big chunk of me gone. Where are you? Like I felt like it was gone. It had left. It's like, okay,
Wow.
all right, we've seen the end, and we're out of here now. And it was just like, since then is when I've been like, oh my God, December 2012 was a horrible time for me. Near the end of it was just, it was rough. Like I was having a very, very bad time in my life. And so like from that was when I started my art, because I needed something to fill up that hole of emptiness, because that passenger was gone. And it was just like, wow, I wonder what kind of what kind of data they got, what kind of knowledge that they've brought back to their people, because it was clearly like they got to experience all of my emotions and all of the stuff that I'd gone through from age 12 until 32, you know, like that's 20 years of
That's
chaos
crazy.
and joy and stuff. Yeah, and it was just like I've only ever told one other person that story, so now everybody here knows. So that's I hope that helps somebody, because that
Wow,
was,
thank you for sharing that.
yeah.
That's so
I feel
that's really
nervous now.
no. That's very cool. I've heard that described as being a walk-in,
I
right?
have
Have you heard
never,
about that?
I've never researched it. I think I was probably programmed to not look it up, because then I would know too much.
Oh, well, anyway, yeah, I guess a walk-in pretty much is like another entity steps into you, like, and occupies the same vessel for a while, and then, yeah, I don't know.
No,
Yeah, I've
that's
read
cool.
about
I'm writing
that.
that down because I actually want to look it up now, because I've never really. It's always been just a thing that happened, and I just accepted that was, you know, that was my deal. It's what happened. It's my jam. So it's just like,
Hmm.
you know, that's just part of my life, and it's normal. And then, you know, I told one other person. He goes, "Dude, that's so not normal." I'm like, "What? Really? That doesn't happen to everybody at puberty?"
I'm
Right.
more on the side of like you have to allow, I don't think, I mean, actually, I'm not trying to like discredit your experience. I'm sure that that is exactly what happened to you, and I'm not like saying that's not what happened to you. I'm just saying, for everybody who might be like, oh crap, I might get taken over by some entity, like, I want to remind everybody the power of your own choice, like you don't have to allow any entities, you know. It's like they can't come unless invited, essentially. Like you have the
Yeah,
power
so
of free
like,
will
so like,
over
Yeah, you know
yourself.
what? Looking back, I can definitely see how I would have invited such a thing because I was not from what I've heard from my family, because as I said, I don't remember my childhood. I was a very withdrawn, introverted child and very sensitive, and I was basically bullied all of the time because of how much I cried. And so it would make sense that I would ask, somebody to help me, no matter who it was, and they maybe just happened to be hanging out and be
But
like, "Hey, good idea."
also, I don't want you to feel alone in the thing because sometimes things are invited without your knowledge.
right,
I know
exactly.
I noticed that for myself, experiences that I've gone through. In going through, and what we were talking about with dreams, I've gone through demonic things that I had to face, and
Hmm.
the tools that I had were spirituality, and that was the only way that I was able to face those in those dreams. But a lot of the dreams that I had came from certain things like certain books that were read out in school, like scary stories or more scary stories, and certain things that would be on TV, which is the reason why I guard what I watch
Yeah.
when it
Yeah.
comes to horror. Because there's certain things that are programmed into those things to instill
Yeah,
fear,
yeah.
and once fear is instilled, you are allowing something to take over you that is not of it's not in the right realm where your spirit should reside. It's not where peace is at, and the opposite of peace is fear. And so whenever you become fearful is when certain entities will thrive off of that and gain strength. So it's not it's sometimes it comes in different ways for different people. So I don't want I don't want you to think that you're alone in that situation, because it does happen to more people. It happened to me, and it took a while for me to face certain things and to call out and to call upon my higher power to be able to help me out in this situation, because I couldn't do it on my own. You
I
know.
only watched one horror movie as a child, and I didn't even remember that I had, because I do remember that my mother was very strict about what we watched. I couldn't watch anything to do with magic. I couldn't watch anything to do with horror. Um,
Right.
Same
she was
here.
very strict,
Same
very
here.
Christian. We actually
Yeah.
had to
Same
go
here.
through the TV guide and circle all the stuff that we weren't allowed to watch. So it was basically like we didn't even bother watching TV because everything that
Right.
had to do with magic,
You,
right?
you
But
might as well forget about Smurfs, because the Smurfs are out of the question.
yep, we crossed
You
those
couldn't
off right
watch
away.
it.
I learned recently. My father actually passed away of cancer in May of 2013, and the day that he passed away, my two aunts, who I hadn't seen since I was 9 years old, came to the hospital, and they were telling me these stories about, last time I saw you, you were sitting on my front porch and telling your little sister that Freddie was going to come get her, and that's because the stairs were broken or something. And I was just like, Freddie? She's like, yeah, from Nightmare on Elm Street. That was the only show that I had watched when I was a child. And it's, he preys on you in dreams and nightmares. And it's just like, after I watched that, my mother severely curbed what we would watch. I was just
Mm.
like, I wonder if that is definitely a connection there to my dreaming now is basically like freedom and lucid dreaming and astral traveling. I've done those things over the last few years. It's I never really put words to it. It was just, things that happen, and I woke up going, all right, that was a thing, and now I have words for it, and I'm going back thinking of the things that I've gone through and the things that I've dreamed, and I'm like, oh, cool. So I do have that power to do that. You know, if there's some badness going on, then I can deal with it because I have control over my own mind, I guess.
Hey, I have a question I'd like to ask you, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Your the whole thing with the entities being with you, was that like a like do you feel like that was a bad thing, or just it just was what it was?
I don't believe it was a bad thing at all.
Okay, okay,
I
yeah,
believe
because that's
that it was a benefit to me because it actually gave me strength, a lot of more strength. Like it not okay, not gave me strength, but it made me realize my own strength.
okay.
Because I felt like I wasn't alone. Even though I was very alone. I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, and I had a lot of my family members I don't talk to. So it was a very lonely time, but I didn't ever feel like I was alone. So a lot of that. I do believe that it helped me. It helped strengthen me as a person having
That's
that. It
cool.
was not a negative thing at
That's what I
all.
wanted to hear. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and someone, I think it was Bonnie, was talking about uh,
What I
giving
do? What
permission or whatever. I don't know. You're talking about how we don't we have to give permission or whatever, and I was thinking like, well, if you felt like that was something that helped you, or that was like a positive experience or something that helped you grow and learn, like um, the whole thing of the higher self, maybe your higher self allowed that, like gave permission to that for you.
Maybe it was my higher self. Maybe
Hmm.
it came
Oh,
from the
maybe yeah.
future and hung
Hmm.
out with me, and that's why I felt so much stronger and was able to deal with all of the chaos that went on in my life. Because
Right.
after it left, I felt like a big chunk of me was gone. So, because
Right.
I'd been used to it for so long, and then suddenly it's just like, it was a black hole like covering 65% of my soul, and it's just like, oh, where'd you go? So now I've been filling it back in, but going back to permissions, I was raised as a very strict Christian child, and
Me too.
my mother always told me, and my grandfather used to be a minister, like a Baptist minister, so they told me,
Hmm.
you you cannot be possessed by anything without your permission. So if you don't give the devil permission, he can't get in. And I'm like, okay. And the devil can't read your mind and things like that. I was like, okay, well, the devil in this case being kind of all encompassing for any spirits that happen to be floating around out there. And so I always knew that unless I said, yeah, come on in, guys, then I was safe, but at the same time, um, when I was feeling really bad, or maybe and opened myself up to having this entity come in, then maybe it was okay. Somebody's TV is really distracting. I think it's you, Bonnie. Um, the having this thing come in, it was basically like um, I was asking for
Bonnie.
help to help my own self. I don't think Bonnie notices she's doing that. Bonnie, hello, Bonnie. We can hear you and see you. Anyways, yeah. So it's basically like I was asking for how can I help myself, and maybe myself came to help me.
Hold on, I'm gonna message Bonnie.
Okay.
Hold on.
Oh,
Hold on.
oh,
Bam.
thank you. Go ahead.
Awesome. It was really distracting because I was losing my train of thought. That's okay though. I got it. I kind of got it back now.
Okay.
So what about
Okay.
you guys? What kind of cool mind experiences have you guys had,
Oh
or
gosh.
personal stuff that you're just like, whoa, that was a weird thing that happened. Like, let's get talking about more stuff because I feel like I'm like supernatural over here.
I
I
think
mean,
we.
a while back, well, like I don't know if it was no, it was the year before. I had a dream that basically told me the future. It's pretty weird because everything played out exactly how it did in my dream, and then I lost a friendship because of it.
Was
Pretty
that
Oh
part in
weird.
the
shoot.
dream?
Yeah, I was hanging out with my friend. Like I was hanging out with one of my friends, and my other one kept on calling me and like wouldn't leave me alone and stuff. And then we ended up getting to like an argument and stopped talking for a long time. And then a few weeks after that dream, the friend that I was hanging out with in my dream, he called. He was like, "Hey man, you want to go do something?" I was about to go do something, so I told him no. But then my other friend, who I got in an argument with, she we got into that argument, and then we basically stopped talking for a long time. A few weeks after I had that dream, and then I told her, I was like, that was the weirdest thing ever, because I have it written down still. It was pretty weird.
Wow. Yeah, I
Hmm.
remember writing down some of my dreams. I actually found them on an old disk drive on my in my computer, and I was just like, man, that was whacked. Some of them are they're really involved, and you wake up going, that totally just happened. Like I just lived through that. That was
Yeah,
a
I
thing that
know.
I just experienced as a live human being. And and then you realize, oh wait, no, I wasn't, part of the Chinese triad, and I didn't actually, go into a burning warehouse full of heroin. Like I'm pretty sure I didn't do that. But in the dream, if like you wake up and you're like, wait a minute, whoa, nope, I'm a white lady. That did not happen. Like it was it's really strange how you can be like how do we know that we're not like piggybacking on somebody else's reality when we're dreaming stuff like that? Have you guys dreamed about being different people?
Oh man, I've dreamed about being on a different planet. I thought
Cool.
maybe that.
It's hard. It's hard for me to dream that I'm another person because I'm looking out of my eyes. I mean, unless I look at it as like when it's all out of my eyes, so I can't really. It's hard for me to look at myself as another person because I can't see myself. You know what I'm like?
I know exactly what you're saying. I mean,
I'm
like
in.
in the dream, you feel like I know I am a Chinese dude. Like it's just a knowing. You just know that you're the thing in your mind, like your feelings and your thoughts and everything. But then you wake up and you're not, and it's just like, whoa, that was really intense. So for me, it feels like I was maybe doing kind of what my higher self feeling that passenger was doing, just like kind of
Okay.
spectating, riding around in somebody else's head while I was sleeping.
That's what I was about
That's
to
pretty
get to the
crazy.
point. Like I was about to ask, have you ever had those dreams where you're basically watching yourself in third person? Like you're watching
Yes.
yourself in a movie, but it's a dream, and you're just
Yes.
like floating above yourself, going, "Oh, why are you doing that?" But that's yourself doing it.
Yeah, and you're like, do I really look like that?
Yeah,
I always wonder if, like, when there's people in my dreams that I know, like, in this physical reality of Earth, um, like, are they sleeping at that time too? And, like, are we actually, like, in
Hanging out.
dreamland together?
I've had
Or
that
is
happen.
it
That's
just,
cool.
like, my projection of like my friend being in my dream? Like, or is it like actually like my friend and I, like our souls are running around dream world together? Does that make sense?
Some people do that. Some people do that.
Yes, I have done that actually. A girl I was dating a few years ago took me astral traveling with her, and got in a whole bunch of trouble. And it
I mean,
was
I know it's possible. I'm just curious about like when
Yeah.
there's times when I have dreams with people in them and I get shy to ask them. I'm like,
I've
hey, was
wondered
I in
that
your dream
too.
last night? Because you
Yeah,
were in my
yeah.
I've done that. Actually, my best friend and I had a dream where we were both in an elevator and we were fighting over what button to push. And he texted me like as soon as I got up. He's like, "I had a dream about you in an elevator." I'm like, "Oh my god, so did
Wow.
I." I was like, "I wanted to push 7 and you wanted to push 5." He's like, "Oh my god, we have to have coffee and talk about this." So we like got together and we had experienced the exact same dream, and it was just like, "What does it mean?" It means that we should take the stairs, maybe. It
Yeah,
was it was
it's
a it
cool.
was a it was a neat experience. Yeah, like talking about this is I never really remember this kind of stuff until I get to talk to people about their own experiences too. So thank you for encouraging me to talk, AJ, because I wouldn't have done it otherwise.
Yeah, thank you. See, that's what this whole hangout thing is for, is to hang out, to, talk about your experiences and to, be open with it because it spawns off. I mean, you're new to this, so I'll tell you the first time that we had it, like the first major Google Hangout we had. I mean, I went on almost a 24-hour binge. um,
Whoa.
It's
I
a good
that's
remember.
how
thing. You might as
no,
well just call it a binge.
it,
Absolutely.
it was like it seriously. That was the night that we all sort of were like, okay, like I guess we're all connected, and that's it. And that became like the family, like, and that's why it was so good to see Matt because Matthew was there, and Christian was there, and Bonnie was
I wasn't
there.
there. I don't think I was there for the first
Oh, you
one.
weren't there for the first. No,
I
were
was for the
you?
second one because I've never
Yeah,
met
He
Matt.
came late. He
yeah, you
came.
did come late. Yeah, you came late, but it was crazy, and it went from one idea or one conversation to another one, and then everybody had input on that, and which spawned off another one, and it went like that for 22 hours strong. Like it was a
Wow.
long time, and there was
That's
I
so
wicked.
many.
left. I wasn't there the whole. AJ was the only one that was
I
there
was the
for the
only
whole
one that
thing.
was there the whole
Oh,
time. The
you're a
whole.
trooper.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I went to sleep for like 5 hours and got back on.
I went to sleep too, and they were still on, and I'm like, no freaking way.
That's so wicked. I love that. That's
Yeah, it
that's
was.
I
It
love it
was
when I can
crazy.
talk to people about this stuff. This kind of stuff is the stuff that I want to talk to Brendan about because I see him like 2-3 times a week, right? So
Mhm.
it's hard to do that though because he's sitting in the shop and there's usually other people around and some of the stuff is pretty personal, like it's stuff that I know that you guys can either, relate to or at least understand what I'm talking about or even get something from it, but you're not always sure of the people who are sort of spectating and just kind of hanging around because they're strangers and sometimes they're just there to like buy candles or something or sometimes they're just there sitting on the floor and you're just like, well, I'm not sure, but like I'll talk about a little bit of stuff, but I don't want to get like too much information about myself to some of the strangers because the shop is downtown and there is a lot of well, interesting characters, we'll say.
Mhm, mhm.
So like there's some things that you want to share with people that you know are like-minded, and then other things you just kind of keep to yourself. But I like this because this is a totally new thing for me is to have a lot of people to talk about this kind of stuff with. I used to be involved with the Wiccan Church of Canada in Hamilton and Toronto, and I could talk about this kind of stuff, and I could talk about goddesses and energy work and things like that with those people. But I haven't communicated with them in about 8 years because of some bad personal stuff that happened there. But it's like I started there, and it was sort of like a jumping point. Like I met those people, and I learned some stuff, and then I kind of did like this huge jump to where I am now.
Hmm.
Like it feels like 8 years have not passed. It feels like 3. It's
Oh
it's
no,
it's
more
pretty
missing
cool.
time. It must be
Well,
aliens.
no, it's not. The thing is, like, I
Just
experienced
kidding.
life in that time, but it was not
Yeah.
like it wasn't a conscious or a constant kind of stream of experiencing different things. It's kind of like hopping over rocks, and
Right. I
the
got you.
rocks are kind of there's darkness there. It's not really like water or anything. It's just kind of hopping around, and then you get to a point where you can talk to people like you guys and keep talking until your mouth is dry, which is what I'm doing right now.
That's cool.
Well, that's what ended up happening that night. I was so excited about the whole thing, and it just spawned off like it's so crazy because it's crazy seeing that. Okay, from what Bonnie was definitely a big one because I read her card. Did I read your cards that night, Bonnie? Was it
Mhm.
was it that night?
That was the
And
night, yeah.
that was the night, and then everything that I was seeing, it had started to play out, and it was like one thing after another, after another, after another, and it was like now she's walking right in what she is supposed to be doing, I guess. And it's great to see it.
Yes.
And I know. Oh, and I'm sorry about the shoes. I do not
I gave
know.
up on the shoes. I just needed someone to tell me to give up on them, but because you guys kept saying you were gonna send them, I kept like looking
Not
in
you
the mail.
guys. Not you guys realize that I don't stay with Anthony and or with Liz, so they're out of my possession. If I would have been, and I haven't even seen Anthony or Liz,
I
and
just got annoyed that Liz was like, just send Anthony money and he'll do it for sure. And I was like, okay, well, if I send him money, then I hope he actually does it. And then I
I'll.
sent him money, and then he didn't do it. But I forgave him because it was the holidays. So I was like, okay, well, maybe now that the holidays are over.
Yeah.
But no, he's ignoring me on Facebook too. So I'm like, all right, I need to just give this up.
Hey.
I left a pair of shoes in Florida that were these like really awesome shoes I spent a bunch of money on for Qigong, and then like wore them like 2 times and left them in Florida.
Oh, so you're trying to get him
This
back.
is a whole nother.
You know what? You just saying you forgave him just reminded me of something I did on the bus today. I realized that I've forgiven the people that caused that chaos for me 8 years ago. I'm sitting there and I'm like, do I hold resentment for that? And I'm like, no. No, I don't. And I was like, yes, I'm a grown-up now. Awesome. Well, because like they did some pretty terrible stuff to me, and I didn't know how to deal with it, and the people who did it were actually my my Wiccan teacher and my dance instructor, and they were a couple. So the two places that I got out of my house to be like a human being and interact with other human beings were either to church or to dancing, and I couldn't go to either because I had such intense negativity towards them for what they had done to me that I was like, I can't bring this to these people. Like that's bad. It's bad vibes. And so I just avoided them, and for a really long time I had a lot of bitterness and a lot of anger towards them for what they had done. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? Everybody's human. We're all people. We all screw up, and we just got to, deal with it. But, their screw up caused me a lot of chaos, but I have actually become a stronger person having gone through all of that. So sitting on the bus yesterday, I was just like, I had to forgive them in order to let it go out of my own heart, so I'm not festering in bitterness and crapulence, because, that's really
crapulence. Gross. That's a great word.
So it's like, yeah, and like forgiveness is such a major thing, and people say all the time, oh yeah, I totally forgive them, but inside they're just like, I hold grudges so hard. But I don't do that anymore, and I've realized that's one of the things that I learned from that experience, was not to hold on to grudges, because they don't serve me, they don't benefit me, they actually poison me. So letting go of that is the forgiveness. You don't say, what you did to me was totally okay. You say, you did some crappy stuff to me, but I'm not holding on to it anymore. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people, I think, don't realize that that's what forgiveness is, so that they don't like to say that they forgive. I'll never forgive them. Well, that means you're just going to hold on to it forever, which is kind of sucky.
I find it hard not to forgive. Like, it just comes naturally to me.
Yeah. With practice.
It happens.
You gotta keep doing it.
Yeah, that's good. That's
what we were talking about at the paradigm shift on Friday, actually, was moving on from shitty things that happened to you.
I just have to say, this is the third freaking time that I'm reading a word and you say it out loud. Like, I was reading the word moving and you were like, moving on. And then there was a moment earlier I was reading a word on a text message. I can't even, let me find what it was. And it was actually on this like Voxer chat thing we do, and someone had typed something and you were saying it. Anyway, does that ever happen to you guys? That's
happened to me all the
time.
Yeah.
It's been happening to me a lot, like just recently, and like this, like in this conversation, that was like the third time it's happened. So I'm just like, whoa,
magic.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, but it's interesting to me.
But those are certain signs that, those okay, so what I was talking about earlier, like certain signs when you know that you're on the right path or you know that you're right where you need to be, is when those things do happen, and you don't
Yeah.
take those things for granted because you're like, okay, I get it. I get it. I like perfect. This was meant for me, and that's the beauty of the whole thing, and that's kind of like the way the universe works, and the whole thing about that, and the best part about it is that you can't take credit for anything. The universe or whatever higher power you seek is the only one that can get the credit because it's something that you couldn't have constructed yourself. It's something that just is, and that realization's there, and it's like, thank you, and
I
just leave it at
have.
that.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say I have a really good term for that, and I learned it about 10 years ago. It's called a cosmic clue by four.
Ooh, I like that.
I like that.
It's just
Yes.
like the cosmos is just like, bam, learn
Cosmic.
this.
Oh my God, that is so good.
Yeah, when everything synchronizes and things are kind of,
Cosmic
you're
clue
doing
by
like
four.
cosmic clue by four. It's like things are going on in a line and it's
Oh.
all lining up and it's all connecting and you're like, that's what it
Whoa.
is.
And because it hits you, it hits you, and you're just like, oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Cosmic clue by four. I'm using that. I'm stealing it.
Sweet. Yeah, pass it on, man.
I'm passing it
Spread that one
on.
around.
Yes, that's
I like
great.
it.
That's awesome. I don't know who came up with it. I don't know if you did or not, but that
No,
is
no,
amazing.
somebody told it to me like 10 years ago, and it's
Wow.
definitely more than 10 years ago now. I'd say like 12, 13 years ago. And I only
I've never heard
use
it.
it a couple of times. Well, the thing is, it happens to me so frequently that I
Right.
don't even register anymore that stuff like this just happens.
Right.
So it's like, does anybody remember the line that I can't remember who said it. I think he might be gone, actually, the person who said it. It's a dream can be remembered in a something awakening. I was trying to write it down, but I didn't get that word.
Oh,
Victor.
that was Victor. A drinking. I think he wanted to say by a conscious awake, by conscious.
I think it's conscious. Yeah.
Yeah, I think by a dream can be remembered by a conscious awakening.
Okay.
And but that was so true. That's when I went into that thing about the house.
Ooh, yeah, I was
But that
gonna.
was
Actually, I have a little
that's
note here too. I was gonna say that's the collective consciousness.
it
You have a
is
memory because everybody experiences everything. That's a memory that's floating around, and
that's
you shared it with somebody
right.
of that house, and it just kind of, because it wasn't your personal memory, each part of the house manifested in a different dream. So it totally makes sense to me. I will be right back. I have to get water. I am parched like a desert.
I don't know why, but Google Hangouts keeps crashing on my iPad. Actually, I know why, because it's an iPad. Anyway. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Just making sure. I'm on my phone now, so.
I'm just like, I'm kind of stalling right now. Like, I have a bunch of stuff that I have.
What are you doing?
Okay, I'm not going to say that I have to do. I have a bunch of stuff that I would like to complete. And I'm totally just, I should like either sleep or do those things. And I'm kind of in this weird la la land.
I had a coffee today, so I am very not asleep.
Dude, I did not, and I'm trying to give up coffee. Okay, that's another. See,
Me too.
These programming words like trying to, that's not no good. No good. So
Yeah.
I'm not trying to give up coffee. I'm taking a break from coffee.
I cut down to maybe 3 a week because I found that I was drinking like 2 to 4 a day, and I went really squirrely.
Sorry.
I don't like being dependent on it. I don't like the daily thing.
Yeah.
I used to be like, okay, I'm just going to drink it a few times a week, which just seems to spiral into more. And I just feel like I feel kind of like I get really excited about it, and I talk myself into how like I'm still going to be aligned with my path even though I'm drinking coffee. and then I drink it and I feel all like the messages that I'm trying to I'm like birthing this idea right now, this course, and it just feels like when I drink coffee, it's a little bit harder to communicate my ideas and the ideas.
Harder to concentrate. Yeah.
But I secretly love it, so it's like this.
Yes, but here's the thing. What do you secretly love? The coffee or the sugar and the cream and the milk that go in it?
I don't do sugar in it.
All right.
I mean, I do like bulletproof coffee even, so it's like,
so thick you can chew it.
It's interesting because I haven't been drinking coffee nearly as much, and I'm kind of giving up on coffee for a totally different reason. Well, mine is just because whenever I drink it, I just don't feel that. I don't feel good. Feel weird.
Yeah.
With
I get
like twitchy and sketchy and
feel good if I drink it. It's more of I feel like before I drink it, oh, it smells so good and it tastes so good and I'm gonna feel good from drinking it, but it's totally an addiction. Yep. Tony.
Yeah.
I wanted to. It's a surprise! Surprise!
Tony.
I think about you and I'm like, is he okay?
Hello.
You're not saying any words, so I don't know.
I want to cry.
You should cry. Go ahead and cry.
Oh. Seriously. He hit me up just a second ago, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. We got synchronicity going on again?
You don't even understand. You don't even understand.
Help me understand.
I can't even explain. I was worried.
It's just like a giant bond.
Yeah, it really is. It really, really. I mean, now you're a part of it, so you'll get it. You'll understand. It's like when you don't see somebody for a long time, and you're just like, it feels almost like a piece of you has died. It's like, what happened?
I get that. I get that. I've had that happen with some really, really good friends, and you're just like, where did you go? You just dropped out of my life.
I know.
And you see him again, and it's all like, oh, emotional.
It's emotional. Because you don't. Yeah, we can hear you. I can hear you a little bit.
Yeah, my microphone. I just need to turn up the sensitivity or something.
Pump up the volume, dude.
No,
I hear
a little bit
really low.
A little bit quiet.
Perhaps your mic needs to be closer to your face.
Could be. Quite possible.
Oh,
I had to get more paper just to take more notes because I have this little index card and it's totally scribbled on, and a piece of computer paper that's totally covered on both sides, and I have no room, so I had to get more paper just to write stuff down. I'm getting art ideas, I'm getting writing ideas, I'm getting poetry, I'm getting all these wicked ideas from you guys talking and from me talking.
That's awesome.
Okay, is that better?
Yeah, a little bit better.
Wow. I do not know.
Tony, you have the floor.
Yeah.
Well, hold on a second. I was going to invite Michael and Deanne in here, too.
Yeah, that's fine.
I haven't talked to Michael in so long.
I know. Well, actually, I talked to him the other day. And Deanna, she commented on a post that was it a post? No, it was a picture that I put up. Because when I went to Sanford, okay, so another weird thing. I kind of mentioned it, but when I bought these two beautiful masks, and it was just something I had never seen as something as beautiful as this. And when I walked into the store, I knew this lady was a reader, and I just looked at her, and I got the gypsy vibe from her, and so she ended up sitting down, and we had espresso. She made me some cafe con leche, and we sat down, and she was like, oh, well, I'm a reader. She was like, or she said, do you have your tarot cards on you? And I said, how do you know I have tarot cards? She was like, well, you told me I was a reader, right? And I was like, all right. So I ended up giving her a reading, and then she she ended up giving me like a super discount because it would have been $80 for the 2 masks, and she gave it to me for 30. And she was like,
Nice.
whenever you want to set up shop here, if you want to do readings, she said, even if you want to do like if people don't have cash and they want to do credit card, I will go ahead and swipe it and take it off the register and just give it to you. She was like, you can use the shop for whatever purpose you want to.
Wow.
She was like, I just want you to come and see me. Like now I feel like we are connected. And so while we were having this conversation, she was like, well, what do you, she said, well, do you feel like you write your own destiny, or you feel like you write your life, like you write it? And I said, well, in some ways I feel like there's certain things that are predestined, but we kind of like we got into that conversation. And she said, well, what about friends that you might not have seen for a time, or you throw away, or they're there for just a season? And all of a sudden somebody entered the shop. Now mind you, I've never been to Sanford before. So somebody entered the shop and she said, hey, how are you doing? And I turn around and it was one of my best friends I hadn't seen in over 15 years. And he was standing in the doorway. And I looked at him and I was like, Space Dog, what are you doing here? And he was like, AJ, what are you doing here? And I'm like, I cannot right now. I cannot deal with this. This is too much. I said, I just so happened to come into the shop, and I just so happened to be here because I was doing some service work and trying to help a friend out. And I just so happened to be in Sanford, someplace I'd never been to, but just so happened to see this house that I had in this dream. And it just so happened that you're standing here right now. I can't deal it with anymore. I can't take it. Like my spirit, I've had enough. It's just like I've had enough. He was like, yeah, I moved here like 2 years ago, and like I work right down the street. And he was just like, I can't believe I'm seeing you right now. And I'm like, I can't believe this is reality. I cannot believe this is reality. And then them having this show like Tony, it's too much. It's too much. It's too much joy going on right now in my spirit. It's just like I just want to
Go
cry.
ahead and cry, man.
It's too much.
Oh, I just
I can
noticed
hear
what
it.
Soul said on the side here. Oh, sorry. You guys can keep talking. Sorry, I'm like meta communicating right now. I think that we are going to go ahead and end the live broadcast, and I'm going to cue him to turn it off. So this has been another wonderful episode of Paradigm Shift After Party. Come join us next time, and everyone say farewell for now.
Bye.
Bye.
For now, guys.
Love,
Journey well.
joy.